Hello and welcome to Rocket Lab's live broadcast of our very first mission from Launch Complex 2 on Virginia's Eastern Shore. It is a beautiful sight to see Electron on the pad in Virginia with chilly but clear weather here, just 2 miles back from Rocket Lab Launch Complex 2 over on the shoreline of Wallops Island. My name is Muriel Baker and I am here with Mission Manager Jane McNichol. Thank you for joining us for today's mission, our 33rd launch of Electron, but our highly anticipated first flight of the launch vehicle from within the NASA Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. Now, as we approach T0, we are keeping a close eye on the upper wind levels over LC-2. Right now, they are trending red for launch, and if they remain that way, our operations team will likely go into a hold. But we have a 2-hour launch window today, so if we do go into a hold, the operations team will wait and watch for those wind speeds to come down to acceptable levels for liftoff. We'll keep you updated through the count, though, and on this broadcast if that happens. But in the meantime, Jane, it is great to have your company today. Now, as a mission manager for Rocket Lab, you know exactly how much work goes into the preparation and launch operations for our team and for our customers. All of that hard work leads to launch day. So why don't you tell us a bit about how the team is feeling as we approach T-minus 39 minutes on the clock?
Yeah, on launch day, there is a buzz around our sites as it's the most exciting day of the whole mission process. Nothing beats the feeling of watching Electron lift off from the pad, knowing that it's the culmination of all of the hard work that goes into a mission, not just on behalf of Rocket Lab, but also our customers. Everyone really rallies together in support. The whole Rocket Lab team loves launch days, and all 1,500 of our people will be watching from our various factories and facilities tonight. We've got a mission name for today's launch that encapsulates those feelings well. We've added a qualifier to the state's well-known slogan and gone with "Virginia is for launch lovers" for today's mission. The name is both a nod to our new home for Electron and recognizes our partners, Virginia Space and the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, and NASA, who have all supported getting Electron to the pad today. Virginia is for launch lovers also ties in our Virginia-based customer flying today, Hawkeye 360. They've manifested a cluster of 3 satellites on Electron today that will form part of their constellation to detect and monitor radio frequency signals around the world, which Hawkeye 360 used to provide geospatial insights to their global customers. Here's Hawkeye 360 to tell you a bit more about their mission.
Hawkeye 360 is engineering a new kind of vision with satellite clusters that identify and geolocate RF signals, penetrating this hidden realm of human activity, activating RF's full potential in pursuit of a safer world, detecting illegal mining in Niger, monitoring dark ships around the Senkaku Islands, tracking GPS interference in Ukraine, identifying oil smugglers near Iran. The launch of Cluster 6 marks a major milestone. These new satellites will adopt a mid-latitude orbit, boosting coverage of regions along the equator for expanded RF frequencies and optimized data collection, all making for greater global insights. It's our first collaboration with Rocket Lab from their brand new launch complex on Wallops Island, and our first launch from our home state of Virginia, representing a major win for Virginia's flourishing space-based economy. With this launch, we continue to expand on our mission, further accelerating mission-critical data and revisit rates, and providing better domain awareness through RF datasets, so analysts have the best tools to make the world a safer place.
It's exciting to be launching Hawkeye 360 today, and an honor to have their satellites be the first to leave our pad at Launch Complex 2. This mission will actually be the first of many with Hawkeye 360, who last year signed on for 3 Electron launches, starting with today's launch in their home state, followed by 2 from our Launch Complex 1 in Mahia, New Zealand. Altogether, Electron is set to deliver 15 of Hawkeye's satellites to low Earth orbit between now and 2024 to support the growth of their constellation.
While Jane and I are here across the marsh from Launch Complex 2, further down the road is Rocket Lab's Integration and Control Facility, or ICF, from where our Electron launches from Virginia are managed by our team of operators. This is where our team monitors pad and launch vehicle readiness in the lead up to launch. They're working alongside range partners NASA and officials from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, or MARS, and the FAA. Shortly, they'll begin their status poll of how launch operations are tracking for an on-time liftoff at 6 p.m. local time, or 2300 UTC. Now that poll comes in at T-minus 35 minutes to launch, which we are coming up to now. So let's switch over to the audio channels and listen in to our launch director at the ICF run through that poll.
Okay, all stations LD on countdown. Proceeding with the status poll for launch sequence 46. Stand by for poll for current and expected status for launch. Report green or red, tracking green or red for launch. Stage.
Stage is green, tracking green.
Avionics.
Avionics is green, tracking green.
GNC.
Sorry, repeat, please.
Yeah, GNC, just looking for a status for launch. Report green or red, tracking green or red for launch.
GNC is currently red, tracking red, with the upper winds being too high for our structural limits.
Copy, we'll keep a close eye on those upper level winds. And VCON.
VCON's green, tracking green.
T1.
One is green, tracking green.
GC.
GC is green, tracking green.
PLS.
PLS is green, tracking green.
Mars CE.
Mars CE is green, tracking green.
Mars Ops.
Mars Ops is green, tracking green.
MM.
MM is green, tracking green.
NASA LWO.
Oh, it's green.
NASA GSO.
GSO is green, tracking green.
NASA PM.
NASA PM is green, tracking green.
NASA RSO.
RSO green, tracking green.
And NASA TD.
NASA TD is green, tracking green.
And NASA LWO LD countdown.
LD, this is L1, countdown 1.
Can you please provide a very brief summary for the weather at T0?
Copy that, LD. This is your L-minus 30-minute weather briefing. Still expecting winds around 130 knots in the upper levels. Looking at our trend, very similar.
So as we heard there out of Mission Control, we are still red for those upper level winds, but with the range green, Hawkeye's payload is healthy and the launch operations are going to remain on schedule as we wait to see how those winds do. But as I mentioned, we are tracking towards that T0 for today's departure to space at 6 p.m. local time, or 2300 UTC. Now, today's launch is a team effort made possible through the support of NASA, Virginia Space, and the Commonwealth of Virginia. Construction work on Launch Complex 2 was completed in late 2020, a build process that involved more than 150 local construction workers and contractors who completed the job in just 11 months. But the path to first launch from Virginia required more than just a physical launch pad. With today's launch, we are bringing a new capability to the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport for the first time, an Autonomous Flight Termination System, or AFTS. Now, AFTS is a GPS-aided, computer-controlled system designed to terminate the rocket should a serious issue be experienced in flight, for example. Now, flight termination systems are a vital part of launch operations. Traditional flight termination infrastructure is a ground-based system that involves a person deciding whether to terminate a mission if the rocket strays from a predetermined flight path. But by contrast, the AFTS is an independent, self-contained subsystem mounted on board the Electron launch vehicle. It eliminates the need for a ground-based system by moving the flight termination function to the launch vehicle. Now, AFTS is crucial in increasing launch frequency and providing responsive launch capability while maintaining the highest industry safety standards. We've been flying an AFTS on Electron from Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand since 2019, but today's mission is the system's debut in Virginia. Now, flight termination, as I mentioned, has exclusively been managed with humans in the loop at NASA Wallops Flight Facility. And for almost 20 years, NASA and the Department of Defense have been working to develop an autonomous system that is open to all range users and which can bring down the cost of access to space. And we are proud to have partnered with NASA and the DoD to bring AFTS to life here at Wallops. So spearheading the efforts to bring Electron launch to the Eastern Shore has been our Vice President of Launch, Sean DeMello. I had the chance earlier this week to have him explain how it feels to finally be at first launch for Electron from LC-2.
Hi, my name is Sean DeMello. I'm the Vice President of Launch Systems here at Rocket Lab. Welcome to Launch Complex 2. We selected Wallops as a location for Launch Complex 2 because of its high launch availability, the strong support from our partners in NASA Wallops and Virginia Space, and incredible support from the state of Virginia to bring this new launch capability to the Eastern Shore for the nation. In under 11 months with our partners in Virginia Space, we built Launch Complex 2 that includes all the critical infrastructure to support a launch of Electron. In addition to the launch pad, we've also built the integration and control facility about 8 miles from the launch pad itself. This facility supports parallel processing of multiple electrons, multiple clean rooms for payload processing, as well as houses our mission control team. With Launch Complex 2 now operational, we have enhanced our global launch capability to over 130 launch opportunities per year. This provides small satellites unrivaled flexibility to get to orbit. This launch has been a long time coming. The Rocket Lab team has worked incredibly hard across engineering, operations, safety, regulatory, and compliance to make this all happen. We also have worked hand in hand with our partners in NASA Wallops as well as Virginia Space to make this a reality. So we're looking forward to seeing this rocket lift off.
I know our team has worked so hard and is so proud to be here in Virginia, bringing responsive and reliable launch to the Eastern Shore. Now, Jane, you'll be familiar with the amount of work that goes into bringing a launch campaign to the pad quickly for those types of missions.
That's right. To get launches away weeks or even days apart requires streamlined systems and a proven, experienced team. After 32 missions, we have exactly that. Since April of this year, we've had an Electron mission every month. The fastest turnaround time between missions was just 15 days when we launched the capstone mission to the moon for NASA and followed it up for a mission with the NRO just days later.
Yeah, that one was really a fantastic effort from the team. Now, since we've got this view of Electron on the pad up on the screen, how about you take us through an explainer of Electron?
I'd be happy to. Let's work our way up from the bottom to the top. Electron is a 3-stage launch vehicle that stands 18 meters or 59 feet tall. It's a unique rocket with a couple of world-first titles to its name. The first is that Electron has a fully carbon composite tank structure, making it strong but still very lightweight. Another first for an Electron is its use of 3D printed electric pump-fed engines to power the rocket to space. These are the Rutherford engines, and together, 9 of them propel the first stage, while a 10th powers the second stage of Electron. They use batteries to power the electric motor behind the engine's rotodynamic pump and were the first engines with an electric pump feed cycle to fly to space. The engines are structurally the same across both the first and second stages, with the exception of a larger expansion nozzle on the second stage engine for operating in the vacuum of space. Electron also includes an 11th engine, a tiny machine by comparison, called the Curie engine. This engine powers the rocket's third stage, what we call the kick stage. Since the Curie is a relightable engine, we can burn it multiple times to bring our customers' satellites to their precise destination in orbit. Nestled on top of this, inside the fairing, are the 3 Hawkeye 360 satellites for this evening's launch in just about 25 minutes' time, and that's our Electron launch vehicle.
It's a chilly winter evening out here in Chincoteague, but for myself at least, and I'm going to hazard a guess and say for Jane as well, we couldn't miss the chance to watch Electrons lift off from across the marsh in person. But for those of you tuning into the broadcast from the comfort of home, if you are living along the eastern seaboard, you may even be able to catch a glimpse of Electron in the sky as well. Obviously, the closer to Chincoteague you are, the sooner into the launch you could see Electron. But even as far south as Georgia, as far north as Maine, and as far west as Ohio, it is also possible you'll see Electron streak across the sky from around 2.5 minutes after liftoff. Of course, for the best views though, stick with us on this broadcast.
If you're here in Chincoteague with us too, there are plenty of viewing spots throughout the county. The launch viewing area at the NASA Wallops Visitor Center is one of the only public sites with a clear view of the launch pad just 7 miles from the range. Once we're off the pad, though, you'll be able to see well from Chincoteague Island, including the Robert Reed Waterfront Park located on Main Street, south down Main Street to Curtis Merritt Harbor, and the bike trail near the Museum of Chincoteague Island. A reminder that we could be a little bit delayed here on the broadcast, so while you're sticking with us, keep an eye on the skies from around T-minus 1 minute on the broadcast if you're viewing in person. Now, a lot of different departments across the state of Virginia have come together to get Electron to the pad for its debut launch from LC-2. Between Virginia Space, NASA, and Rocket Lab, this is a joint effort that marks a new beginning for commercial space on the Eastern Shore. Let's hear more about what it took to get to the pad today.
This represents a historic moment in our history, in the long and storied history of Wallops, with over 16,000 rocket launches. The Starling launch today represents a new era of resilient and responsive access to space.
That kind of capability, to offer that to our nation, to offer it to the commercial sector, to be able to put satellites into orbit. It's an exciting opportunity for not only the commercial aspect, but also for the nation.
Bringing together NASA's engineering with our autonomous flight termination system, enabling and supporting Rocket Lab and the Electron launch vehicle, along with our partners in Virginia with the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport. The AFTS serves as a springboard for increasing the cadence of launches while providing a safe launch where it doesn't rely on human beings. It reduces costs and then allows us to launch more frequently, increasing our efficiency, not just at Wallops, but at all ranges across the United States.
So flying with AFTS from Wallops opens a whole new capability for rapid response, rapid succession, and lessens the mission time support to spool up for a mission. So we're very excited to demonstrate this here at Wallops for the very first time integration effort and all the supporting effort has been a tremendous load of work from the team to make it happen. And we are here. We finally have made it, and very proud of the team for the work they've put together to make AFTS happen.
We are most thrilled that we were actually able to build LC-2 pad. We built it from groundbreaking to full operational status in 11 months. Now to be able to see a rocket actually launch off of the pad upon which we built.
So working here at Wallops with NASA team and Virginia Space team, I feel like it's a unified team. Whether you're wearing a blue shirt or a black shirt or whatever color and whatever lapel pin, we're one unified team.
We are approaching the T-minus 12-minute count that when soon our operators will run through the final go, no-go poll by the launch director for this mission, Michael Pearson. This is the team's final status check of the system they are responsible for across the rocket, launch pad, and launch range. And we have our on-site team operating out of the Rocket Lab ICF alongside our partners, with support from operators out of Rocket Lab's Mission Control Center in Shadow Watch. Now let's start with our operators in the ICF so you can have an overview of who is in charge today. Starting with the front row closest to the screens, there sit our partners, including NASA and the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, from the left to right, with our launch regulator, the FAA, on the end. As LC-2 is located within the Wallops Flight Facility, which is a NASA range, the agency is supporting today's mission with operators across ground safety, range safety, system safety, and weather monitoring. In the middle row is a mix of Rocket Lab operators across avionics, which are the electrical systems driven by software that tell the rocket how to operate and where it should go. And the ground control engineers are sitting there too. The operator managing the propellant loading system for Electron is closer toward the middle, sitting next to two engineers from Mars. At the back of the room, on the left, we have mission management and our vehicle control specialist, or VCON, and on the right, our leadership team offering executive support for the mission, sitting next to our IT engineer. In the middle, we have our Electron stages operator with the call name Stage, who monitors Electron's propellant tanks, pressures, fuel usage, engine ignition and firing, and overall status of the engines. And then finally, next to her, we have our launch director, who leads all of the operators for this mission and has overall responsibility for the safety and success of the launch.
Switching now to Rocket Lab's Mission Control Center, or MCC, in Auckland. In the front row is our RF engineer looking after our communication systems between Electron and our global ground stations, and our ICE operator managing instrumentation and control engineering. At the end of the middle row on the right is flight analysis, who watch over our trajectory data for the mission as it relates to our range and mission safety criteria. Next to them are our shadow operators for stage and VCON, and our guidance, navigation, and control operators who make up the end of that middle row. They monitor onboard navigational systems and guidance computer software on Electron and are responsible for determining the position of Electron's first, second, and third stages in space. At the back, we have ComOps looking after all data, voice, and video communication systems for launch. And then finally, Rocket Lab's launch safety officer and the shadow support for the launch director.
Avionics LD countdown.
LD avionics.
Can you confirm the stage 2 umbilical POF is nominal?
Confirmed.
And confirm HVB balancing is disabled?
Confirmed.
And confirm internal HVB heaters are disabled?
Confirmed.
ComOps LD countdown.
Go ahead.
Can you confirm that the video streams are in sync?
Can confirm.
Okay, and I confirm that the primary abort switch and watchdog are configured and ready, and I am actively monitoring countdown cord, LV cord, range cord, and safety net. At this time, we do plan a T-minus 12-minute hold while we wait for further balloon data as upper level winds die down.
LDGC on countdown.
GCLD.
The umbilical arm and prime sequence is complete.
Copy, thank you.
So just confirming what we heard there out of mission control, it sounds like our operators are going to go into that hold at T-minus 12 minutes just to wait out those upper level winds as they are currently too high for our launch time at 6 p.m. So again, just to repeat, we will go into that hold at T-minus 12 minutes, and as we get more updates out of mission control, we will share them with you here.
LD, NASA PM, countdown 1.
NASA PM LD.
Please confirm receipt of the 1 hour partial balloon data and be advised that the 15-minute balloon has been released.
Copy, can confirm receipt of the T-minus 1 hour partial balloon data, and thank you on the T-minus 15.
LD, Vicon, countdown.
Beacon LD.
Vicon, T-minus 30-minute milestone sequence 48 is complete.
Copy, sequence 48 complete, thank you. And all stations, just note that we have just reached the T-minus 12-minute hold. We will be holding at this point for further balloon data, and we'll update as soon as I can. And at this time, we will not be proceeding with the go, no-go poll until we confirm that we are happy with the balloon data.
Okay, as we heard it there from Mission Control, those upper level winds are expected to be out of bounds at the T06 p.m. liftoff time, and we have gone into a hold to wait for that additional weather balloon data. So as we wait for that hold, we'll be going into a hold here ourselves on this broadcast too, but we will come back and share updates from Mission Control as we receive them. Stick with us though and keep your fingers crossed for a drop in those wind levels.
Hello, this is Jane McNichol with Rocket Lab here at Launch Complex 2. If you're just joining, we are in a hold in the launch countdown while we wait for out-of-bounds upper-level winds to ease over Wallops Island. We've had a clean run through the count so far with all systems on Electron and the launch pad green for launch. The Hawkeye 360 payloads also remain healthy and clear for liftoff. It's just those pesky upper-level winds we are waiting on now. We have a 2-hour launch window this evening that opens at 6 p.m., so still plenty of opportunities for a launch attempt tonight. We remain live on the broadcast while we wait, and we'll continue to bring you updates as we receive them from Mission Control.
on countdown 1.
TDLD.
Yes, sir. Based on your COLA analysis, the earliest time you could pick up the clock is 23:25:00 Zulu. Can you please confirm that?
Yeah, reviewing now. We'll confirm shortly.
Copy.
It's Muriel Baker with Rocket Lab here. If you have just tuned in for this Virginia is for Launch Lovers mission from LC-2, we are in a hold in the launch countdown due to strong winds in the upper atmosphere above Electron's launch site. Our launch director has called for a hold in operations to wait for those winds to come down so we can fly within our safety bounds. The team is assessing the next best time to set our T0 liftoff time for, but otherwise, Electron remains in a state of readiness, same as the Hawkeye payloads, and we'll continue to let you know how things are tracking.
Now, tonight's mission might be from a NASA range, but it's not a NASA payload. Electron has been the ride to orbit for several NASA satellites, though, including the Capstone spacecraft that we sent to the moon earlier this year. While we wait for these upper-level winds to ease off, let's look back at that mission.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Engine
3, 2,
start.
1.
TLI move to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Coming up on horizon crossing.
AOS. Incredible, exciting news there from Mission Control. We have had confirmation that the Hypercurie engine lit up and fired Photon and Capstone on its ballistic lunar trajectory toward the moon.
Expected to deploy in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deploy.
If you are just tuning into tonight's launch, you'll have noticed Electron is still on the pad, and that's thanks to some strong upper-level winds keeping us grounded for now. The launch director, though, has placed us into a T-minus 12-minute hold while we wait for balloon data to determine whether the winds are easing. Tonight's launch window does extend to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so we have time to sit and enjoy this beautiful but chilly Wallops night. Stay tuned for updates.
A reminder, while you're here with us on the broadcast, as we await liftoff, we are also waiting for upper level winds to die down so that we can launch safely. Virginia is for Launch Lovers will be our very first mission from this launch pad at Wallops Island, but Electron has launched 32 times before from our first launch site in New Zealand, Launch Complex 1 on the Mahia Peninsula. There, at our own private range, we have not one, but 2 launch pads for the Electron rocket. With those 2 pads and the one here at NASA Wallops Flight Facility, we have up to 132 launch opportunities every year. Let's take you back to February earlier this year when we opened our second pad at Launch Complex 1 and have our CEO, Peter Beck, explain the benefits of operating multiple launch pads.
Hello and welcome to Launch Complex 1 in the beautiful Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand, the only private orbital launch site in the entire world. So just behind me here is our newest addition, Pad B. What we're doing here with Pad B is essentially doubling our launch capacity. The ability to launch and our launch cadence is essentially doubled by having an additional pad.
Launch Complex 1 is like no other launch site in the world. We literally started on a green field here in Mahia Peninsula, built one little pad and a small integration facility, and now we have 2 pads, a number of clean rooms, making a world-class launch facility. We created a launch complex that was capable of launching once every 72 hours to a range of inclinations, right from mid-inclination, about 30 degrees, all the way to sun-synchronous orbit, all from Launch Complex 1.
For us, it's really important to have launch pads in both hemispheres of the planet. So we have 2 launch pads in the southern hemisphere, 1 launch pad in the northern hemisphere. For our government customers, it's really great to be able to have that flexibility and that access where they don't have to leave US soil to launch out of LC-2. And for our commercial customers and as some of our government customers, they have the flexibility to choose which pad they want to go out and which pad suits their schedule the best. Right now we've got one customer that's ready to go on this pad behind me and another customer that's processing and getting ready to go on that pad.
So with Pad B, we took a lot of the design from our original Pad A and made some small improvements to make our operation that much more efficient. We use the same integration facility, the same rocket runway, with our final infrastructure all placed in a concrete pad no more bigger than a tennis court.
LC-1 really is the latest state-of-the-art launch facility. We had this real luxury from day one saying, okay, blank sheet, how are we going to build a launch pad to really be the 21st century launch pad? And what you see here is just an absolute streamlined flow to be able to take customers' payloads, get them processed and get them on orbit. And the second pad really just solidifies that. So a launch range is much more than just a couple of pads. Out at LC-1 here, you see multiple clean rooms that enable us to process multiple customers at one time. Up the top of the road there, we have range control, where we are in charge of the entire range. We don't rely on any government range, any government assets, AFTS systems, tracking dishes, everything. It's all owned and controlled by Rocket Lab. Having Pad B really means we can eliminate pad recycle time, which enables us to just do launch after launch and just pace them one after the other.
With 2 launch pads, we have doubled our capacity and reached ultimate launch flexibility. This means when a customer needs us, we've got a pad ready. From LC-1, we've flown over 100 satellites to date, all supporting everything from climate science through to international logistics, maritime surveillance, and soon we look forward to launching to the moon and beyond.
Launch Complex 1 has become the gateway to space for small satellites.
Well, rockets are the aim of the game today for our first launch from LC-2. Earlier in the year, our team in Albuquerque recently delivered solar panels for NASA's Gateway Power and Propulsion Element. We sat down with some of the team to hear their thoughts.
This project is very exciting because we are taking very small, light, modular designs and building them into a gigantic array of panels to build lots and lots of power to support not only human transport to the moon, but additionally moving the base station that astronauts will be working from around the moon.
So the PPE program was the first major order of the Z4J cell technology, new technology for Solero, increased power, increased reliability. So it's exciting for us in that regards. And then it's also the single biggest order to date that we've had for SPMs. So it's a flexible solar array. Having the ability to do a rollout array is very innovative.
So this panel design has been qualified for very, very unique orbits. The requirements of this particular mission are very stringent. Solero has had to do a lot of qualification work to ensure that these specific innovative designs are able to withstand these environments. The temperature ranges are very extreme and they need to be extremely reliable because once they're in space, you can't go out and fix them.
It's interesting. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a challenge, to be a part of something that's actually impacting our future as human beings. It's interesting.
I never could have imagined I'd be a part of it. But I do recall specifically I believe Apollo 17, which we knew ahead of time was going to be the last visit to the surface. And I remember being a little sentimental. It will be exciting to return for a lot of reasons. It's great to be a part of that return. It's pretty overwhelming to think, that it will be in space, in lunar orbit, and it's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Some of the things I've learned being part of this project, how important teamwork is.
Very proud of the team here at Solero, having executed this from concept to completion here. So the design team, the engineers that were involved with this from day one to develop the technology, get the design through to meet all the requirements, and then the production team that developed the capabilities to actually produce this at volume has been a big deal. So very proud of what the team's been able to accomplish here.
It's something I never thought I'd be a part of, never even dreamed about. It's exciting to be part of the future.
It's an unparalleled feeling knowing that you're part of advancing humanity's adventure into space.
Hello again. We are continuing to wait for strong upper level winds to come down during tonight's launch window for Virginia is for launch lovers. It has just gone 6:56 p.m. local time, which means we have another hour or so to be able to launch tonight's mission. And Electron is standing by and ready to fly from the pad with our mission partner Hawkeye 360, a radio frequency analytics provider from right here in Virginia. Now, with our state-based customer and our launch pad here on Wallops Island, Virginia really is for launch lovers. And if you see yourself amongst the team launching satellites on Electron and in the future on our much larger rocket Neutron, then there is a place for you. Here's more about the available opportunities right here in Virginia.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, engine 3, 2, 1.
Lift off, vehicles get the pad.
We're creating a lot of new things here, right? So we're kind of pioneering the future, and it's really how much do you want to get involved? How much do you want to learn about something? And it seems like the opportunities here are really just endless.
Having one another's back is one of our core values, so we try and work together as a team to deliver exceptional results.
Cultural impact was something that really drew me. It's like, we're here because we like to be here and we don't want to leave and we want to build things that are amazing.
I feel very honored to be part of this project. Every mission, it's a challenge, but it's just so rewarding as a professional and as a woman to be part of it.
If you want to learn about something, you could always just approach someone within the company and learn about it. That kind of goes to the culture here as well, because we're all really close here. I consider the people I work with here some of my best friends. Yeah, I really look forward to showing up every day, and I learn a lot from them too. Everybody here is just brilliant. Collaboration is key, right? When you're doing innovative things, it's just ultra important that everybody's communicating effectively and on the same page and working well together.
But we often force the communication. We send people to New Zealand. New Zealand folks come here, right? We want to make sure that we have constant communication through the design phase into production, and that comes from the people. I think that's actually part of the reason why I really like the small company feel, right? Because it's easy to recognize all of the effort that you put into your work, and that allows for actual movement within the company.
I will have to say this is the first time that I feel happy every day working. I love the culture of this place, the people. It's bright, it's amazing, but they're very humble. And I will have to say that starts from the CEO.
Peter, as the CEO, he's not only the technical lead, but the personnel lead as well. He's incredibly capable and technical engineer, but at the same time, he's also very pragmatic.
Yeah, he's just another member of the team, right? Yeah, he is the founder and the owner, but he's really just another member of the engineering team as well.
For Rocket Lab, it does start with the mission. I think it starts with the people. There's an incredible team here that has both expertise, but also an incredible sense of teamwork tied to delivery on those missions. And for me, I think it's the best of both worlds, that you still get the innovative feel of a startup with also the maturity of a company that brings our track record, as well as the scope of 1,500 people across multiple locations to the forefront. So you're at the starting point of the next phase of kind of Rocket Lab's journey to growth and success as we continue to stand up new locations like Virginia, as well as integrate in a lot of exciting companies that have joined the company in the last year.
Lift off, vehicles get the pad.
Head to rocketlabusa.com/careers for more information. A quick update from Rocket Lab Mission Control. We do remain in that T-minus 12-minute hold for upper level winds, but we are also receiving updates of a vessel approaching the exclusion zone. So range teams will be dispatching folks to keep the boat in the safe zone away from the launch corridor. But this is just a friendly reminder to stay clear of safety zones on launch day, please. No one wants to scrub for that.
A quick update from the launch team here. We have received the latest weather balloon data, and I'm pleased to report that it is trending in the right direction. The launch team is assessing a potential new T0, but just a reminder that we have just shy of an hour left tonight, with the window scheduled to close at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll keep you posted on that new T0 when it's available. Thanks for sticking with us on the broadcast for tonight's mission. Virginia is for launch lovers. In case you missed it, just a few moments ago, we got the report from Mission Control that the upper level winds are trending down in the right direction. That means we may have an opportunity for liftoff during tonight's launch window, which remains open until 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The operations team are working through the logistics for that right now and will let us know if a new T0 can be set shortly. We'll bring you that update as soon as we have it. Good evening from Launch Complex 2 on the chilly eastern shore of the United States. As you may have noticed, we're currently in a hold at T-minus 12 minutes due to our favorite nemesis, upper level winds. Earlier we heard from operators they were seeing winds trend in the right direction for potential liftoff towards the end of the window, which we have open until 8 p.m. Eastern or 0100 hours UTC. We'll keep you updated as we learn more information from Mission Control.
Hello from LC-2. As you can see at the bottom of the screen corner there, we have the time ticking down from T-minus 22 minutes. That is the last possible opportunity we have for this launch window tonight, but we are still waiting for those strong winds to die down up above Electron on the pad there. So just to reiterate, that clock is ticking down to our last possible opportunity while we wait for an update from Mission Control.
Targeting a T0 of 7:59:58 local. That is our last opportunity. We are still monitoring upper level winds. Is still borderline, but we're doing everything we can here. Avionics, LD countdown.
LD avionics.
Can you confirm internal HVB heaters are disabled?
Confirmed.
Copy, and can you confirm that the stage 2 umbilical POF is nominal?
Confirmed.
And confirm HVB balancing is disabled?
Confirmed.
And ComOps, LD Compcord. Sorry, countdown.
Go ahead, LD.
Apologies. Can you confirm that the video streams are in sync?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. And all stations, I can confirm that the primary abort switch and watchdog are configured and ready. And at this time, I'm actively monitoring countdown cord, LV cord, range cord, and safety net. At this time, we are not planning a T-minus 12-minute hold. And we will be proceeding with the go, no, go poll at T-minus 12 minutes, but please raise any issues you foresee immediately. And at this time, the T-minus 18 minutes check sequence is complete.
Hello again. In the not too distant future, when strong winds will hopefully not be an issue, we have 2 exciting missions set to fly from this NASA range for the agency itself.
The mission names are TROPICS, and that stands for Time Resolved Observations of Precipitation Structure and Storm Intensity with a Constellation of Smallsats. Quite a long name, but an exciting mission to send 4 CubeSats across 2 launches into low Earth orbit to measure temperature, humidity, and precipitation structure to track the evolution of tropical cyclone intensity. These missions are set to launch in the middle of next year, and we cannot wait to see another few electrons on the pad in quick succession.
All stations LD on countdown, proceeding with the final poll for launch, go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
This is go.
GNC.
GNC is no-go. GNC is no-go for upper level winds.
Copy. VCon.
VCon's go.
T1.
Let's go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
Mars CE.
Mars CE is go.
Mars Ops.
Mars Ops is go.
Mars 1.
Mars 1 is go.
NASA GSO.
GSO go.
NASA RSO.
RSO is go.
MM.
MM is go.
LD SUP.
LD SUP is go.
And NASA TD.
NASA TD is go.
Okay, all stations, unfortunately, we are going to be no-go today. We'll have to hold the count. Can't say we didn't give it our all. Vehicle is perfect, pad is perfect, everything is perfect except for those upper level winds. So we'll come back.
Hello again from Launch Complex 2. Well, the team put up a good fight, but unfortunately, as you heard there, those upper level winds got the better of us today, and we will be standing down from a launch attempt. We do, though, have a backup opportunity tomorrow, so we will see you back here then. Thanks for joining us for today's attempt. We look forward to bringing you the liftoff of Virginia is for Launch Lovers very soon.